a huge impact on your brand's profitability, right? Talked to a ton of different store owners that are basically betting it all on the first date, right? That's the analogy we like to use, right? Spending all their time chasing clicks, driving clicks to their store from social media, from they've tried ads, they've tried everything, and they're not getting results from those clicks. They feel like they're spinning their wheels. Maybe you are dealing with some of that right now. If that's the case, this video is going to be incredibly beneficial to you, right? We're going to break down what we call a process called dynamic mirroring, right? Dynamic mirroring. This is a way to extract the maximum value of every single click that you drive to your store. It's going to boost your ROI from your marketing activities. It's going to boost your ROI from the time that you're spending just marketing your brand in general. And it could be the difference between your brand losing money versus breaking even and even turning a profit. And we are live. What's up, Ecom hackers? Welcome to another episode of Ecom Hacker TV. I'm Mike Ayo. We got Alyssa Peoples, Ralph Desmornez on the call. And today we're going to talk about something that is going to have a huge impact on your brand's profitability, right? Talked to a ton of different store owners that are basically betting it all on the first date, right? That's the analogy we like to use, right? Spending all their time chasing clicks, driving clicks to their store from social media, from they've tried ads, they've tried everything, and they're not getting results from those clicks. They feel like they're spinning their wheels. Maybe you are dealing with some of that right now. If that's the case, this video is going to be incredibly beneficial to you, right? We're going to break down what we call a process called dynamic mirroring, right? Dynamic mirroring. This is a way to extract the maximum value of every single click that you drive to your store. It's going to boost your ROI from your marketing activities. It's going to boost your ROI from the time that you're spending just marketing your brand in general. And it could be the difference between your brand losing money versus breaking even and even turning a profit, right? So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because it's full of straight value bombs, and it's going to make a big impact on your business if you implement some of this stuff. And we're going to show you examples of exactly how, right? So let's kick things off, right? Alyssa, let's go over some of our big three, right? What are we talking to them about today?
Yeah, so basically it's like what you said, not trying to bet on the very first shot of getting somebody onto your site that they must buy then, that they must buy everything that they'll ever want in their entire lifetime. We want to make sure that we're creating a system where you have multiple touch points with that user, that you're creating a lifetime value around that user, where you're profiting from them over time. And each time that you profit from them, you're spending a little bit less if you're spending anything at all to get that sale. That's what dynamic mirroring is really all about. It's about trying to find a way to have that user reflect on your products again and again and again every time they are interacting in their normal everyday life. That could be them going back through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those great platforms, but it's also trying to get in their inbox and trying to get on their phones, something that we all know we're on 24/7. So dynamic mirroring is really about trying to be there for them at that moment.
Yep, follow them around where they're at, showing them a reflection of where they're at in your buying process. Whatever social media, whatever device, right? You're there reminding them about your brand and bringing them back into your shopping process. That's where a lot of you guys are dropping the ball, is you're, again, that first visit, and you're not reminding them to come back. You're not helping them through the rest of your buying process. And that's where a lot of you are leaving a ton of money on the table, right? So
absolutely,
dynamic mirroring breaks down into three things, right? Three distinct steps, right? So step number one, what's that?
Step number one is email marketing. We know that as we're getting people onto the site, sometimes we're using pop-ups to collect their email, to give them a discount for that nice welcome to our site, welcome to our products. There's also, after somebody actually transacts with you, they purchase something, you want to collect their email then too. It's very transactional. It's very necessary, right? Because they want to know where their product is. They want that confirmation. They want the receipt. So when you're collecting these items, what we see so many people do is they collect them and they store them and they throw them on a list, but they don't create any process around it that actually creates a system to say, what am I going to do with that email address? Sometimes we're really good at remembering to send the receipt and let them know that something shipped. But what we can do in that meantime is also get them to come back to either purchase more or get to know you better so that they're more primed when you show up in multiple times to go ahead and make additional purchases from you. You're building that trust and you can't take that for granted. Mike, I know that we have a great system for how we turn this on for each and every product that we ever sell. And it's something that we build ahead of time before launch and we tweak along the way, but it's something that's so easy to actually kind of copy and paste and hand off no matter what brand or industry you're in. Could you give us just a little bit of insight on what those email campaigns actually look like?
Yeah. So this is a process Alyssa and I actually put together a few years ago. We call it an email lead machine, right? And it's basically a system that you build that allows you to, take that click, turn it into a lead, and then turn that lead into a sale, right? In the background, right? You can have this sort of thing running. And when we talk about the impact that email marketing, you folks have heard, if you started a brand and you're live now, someone has told you about email marketing before. Maybe you're using it, maybe you're not using it, right? But I want to show you guys like what this stuff actually means, right? So what you're looking at right now is the dashboard inside Klaviyo, which we recommend we use for all of our e-com brands. All of my students, I recommend them use Klaviyo as well for their email marketing. It's enterprise class without enterprise pricing, and it integrates directly with Shopify, and it'll allow you to really have the ability to kind of communicate from your store to your follow-up and have it, all synced up perfectly. So what I want you to see, right, out of our total revenue in the last 12 months, you did 420K. This doesn't include Amazon, it's literally just Shopify, right? But you can see 31% of that came from email. 31%, 1/3 of our revenue came from email marketing, right? Some of you have a profit margin of about 30%. So if you're not doing email marketing, that might be your profit margin right there, right? If you're not effectively following up with people, and that's why I use the analogy of one and done, right? You spend all this time and energy getting someone to your site, and then you're not following up with them. Email marketing is a way to keep people coming back, whether you're using automated flows or whether you're using manual broadcast campaigns to basically print cash on demand, right? This is how you're able to keep in contact with your people and build that relationship over time, right? Research shows that nurtured leads spend an average of 32% more than non-nurtured leads, right? Research shows that email marketing converts like 42% of it's not 42, but like $42 out for every dollar in, something like that. Like an insane return on investment for email marketing, right? That's because it's low cost, high value, right? You spend all that time getting that customer to buy the first time. What happens after that? You can get your buyers to come back and buy more. You can get your leads, people that aren't ready to buy today, right? You can capture that lead, teach them about your brand, build a little bit of trust, build a little bit of confidence, right? And this is what and now you can turn them into a transaction, right? This is a major, major key in the success and profitability of any e-commerce brand. And so many of you are not doing this in your business. It's insane, right? So the first pillar of dynamic mirroring is email marketing, right? New buyers, boom, new visitors, boom, you're mirroring them in their inbox with more information about your brand, more information about whatever discount that you offered them to get them to opt in, more case studies or stories, testimonials to build that confidence, right? Reminders, urgency, that sort of thing. And you never know when today's the day. And then they come back and they buy, right? Buyers, you're messaging them to get them to come back and buy more, spend more, right? Abandoned carts, you're getting them to come back, right? Dynamic mirroring, or you left something in your cart, boom, hey, that's where you're at in the buying process. Let me bring you back to finish that. Browse abandonment, hey, you were looking at something, but you didn't complete your purchase. Let me bring you back so you can complete your purchase, right? Dynamic mirroring, you show them messaging that matches where they're at in the buying process. Email is a big key to that. And you can see the proof is in the pudding, right? 31% of our revenue, 31% of our revenue in the last year, email marketing, click send, get paid, right? Huge, huge part of the overall profitability of your brand. And this piece alone, folks, this piece alone can impact your ROI like today.
100%. And one thing I want to just double click on, because I want you guys to make sure you heard this. It's not just sending the promotional emails. It's not just sending out a sale. And for the love of God, don't send out sales every other day. You don't want to create a brand that's always discounted like that. But what these email systems are going to do is actually make you relate to them a little bit better, give them kind of that look behind the scenes. And through that relationship building, that's when you're going to create a customer who comes back, not just the first time, not just the second time, but they're going to keep coming back time and time again. And one thing I hear all the time is just, well, I do email marketing. And really what they mean is I've done emails before. And when I think about it, or when I get in a bind, I go ahead and send again. And what we're talking about here in the dynamic mirroring is actually setting up emails that automatically go for you. So that when you do send out a broadcast or something that's like one time that you're putting together, it's very time sensitive, but it's not the only thing driving your email marketing campaign. So definitely want you guys to take note of that. And better yet, we have a couple of our templates that I know we created this system a couple of years ago, but it's been a little over a decade in the making of us actually testing and refining and working on all of these emails. We have a couple templates that I want to send out to you. Go ahead and write me in the comments below. I'll direct message you. I'll get you over that link so that you can go ahead and use some copy and paste items just to get yourself started in that area. I want to move on to part 2 as well, because I think this one it's something that's been around for a while, but I think we're finally seeing people do it right. And that comes down to text message marketing. Everything's about the phone now. If you can get on someone's phone with a good message that entices them to come over to your site, you can hit them in almost that impulse moment where they might be looking to buy or they're looking to browse when they wouldn't have as much time in other scenarios. So I think it's a really unique area that you can tap into. But because it's so new and because we don't always think about collecting phone numbers and things like that, Mike, I want to throw it back to you one more time. Can you tell us a little bit about what the structure of text messaging actually should look like for your store?
No, listen, folks, we're talking secret sauce stuff right now, right? You want to have an advantage over your competitors. You want to have an advantage, even in some cases, over some of the big brands that are still trying to figure this piece out, right? Text message marketing, right? Text message marketing can absolutely set things up for your brand, right? So again, we practice what we preach over here. I just want you to take a look at this. When we talk about ROI, right now, today, there is no marketing activity, nothing that gives you better ROI than text message marketing right now. It has surpassed email, right? When done well, right? You can do this poorly and get crappy results, right? But when done well, I mean, look at this, right? In the last year, over 100K from email, right? So when you add that to email marketing, you guys start to see where half of our sales are coming from our follow-up game, right? A lot of you folks are completely leaving this type of revenue on the table. Email or text message marketing, 100 grand, almost 1,000% ROI. Have you ever seen anything like that before? Right? We spent nearly 10K to make 100 grand. How many of you would do that. If I told you to come up with $10,000, and if you can come up with that $10,000, you can turn it into 100 grand. How many of you would find 10 grand today? Right? There is no better marketing activity right now than text. But again, you have to do it well. You have to do it smart, right? Again, it's not just always broadcasting out sales like we talked about before. There is a little bit of nurture that goes on. There is timing, right? Text messaging is all about right message at the right time to the right person, right? And knowing which slice to talk to with what. So there is a little bit of an art that goes into this, but once you get it dialed in, right? How you talk to your leads that haven't bought yet, how you talk to your customers to get them to buy more, how you talk to people that have bought one thing but not bought another, how you talk to people that have abandoned their carts, right? All of these are things that are going to help you dramatically increase your store's revenue and dramatically improve your marketing ROI, right? We talk about marketing ROI all the time. And so we have, our traffic expert, Ralph, on calls like this. I mean, Ralph, hey, look, you deal with, tens of thousands of dollars in marketing spend from across different brands every single month. How big an impact, or better yet, how would you compare the performance of brands that invest in email marketing and text message marketing when we're talking from a paid traffic perspective compared to brands that don't have like back-end marketing and things like that in place? Like, how do they compare?
Yeah, you can clearly see the difference in performance. Even the same brand, right? They may not have any back-end marketing turned on, such as abandoned cart emails or text messages. And the second that they turn it on, they're already making the most out of their traffic. You're seeing an increase in their conversion rate. You're seeing an increase in the amount of conversions that our ad campaigns are actually bringing in. And then even other channels, some of the referral traffic, some of the, outside channels that aren't even directly the actual email and text messages, they see a benefit from it too, because again, we're just finding multiple ways to really hit that particular audience. And then whether they come back through an ad, whether they come back through, a display ad that they see on a particular website while they're surfing, they're already familiar with the brand because they've been nurtured and they're more and more likely to actually convert the next time that they visit the site. So it really affects everything. It's super important to have it in place.
Yeah. And I mean, they're paying per click, right? If you're running paid traffic and you're paying per click, you want to get the most out of that, right?
Absolutely. You've already paid for them at that point.
Right? Like, folks, we're talking about customer lifetime value. We're talking about customer value, right? Paid traffic is all about, your cost per click, right? Your cost per lead, your cost per purchase, right? This is the type of stuff that can, if your cost per click, cost per lead, cost per purchase are kind of, constant, but you're using email and text messaging to get people to buy more and to get people to come back, right? You're decreasing your cost per purchase because your pop-ups and these incentives are giving you more transactions, right? And then you're increasing your customer value because you're using your email and your text message to get people to come back and buy again, right? So if brand A's cost per purchase is like $20, right? And then their average order value is $25, they're not really excited about that, right? They're not excited about that. But if you have email and text message going, right? And because of that, now you're decreasing your cost per purchase to maybe $15, right? And you're increasing your average order value, 35, right? Or customer lifetime value with this type of stuff, maybe 50, right? Would you pay $15 to make 50? That's how you grow, right? When you deal with traffic managers like Ralph here, they love that type of stuff, right? It's easier to show results this way, right?
Yep, absolutely. We definitely recommend that it's in place, even before starting campaigns, and just really roll it out and fine tune it as we continue to go. So, yeah, super important for the success of really any store.
All right. Your follow-up game, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. Folks, stop betting it all on the first date, right? You want a relationship? Send them an email, send them a text message, right? Nurture it a little bit. You'll get more out of it, right? But there is one additional piece to the trifecta, right? One more component to really powerful dynamic mirroring, right? Alyssa, what's that?
So it's a little bit different than what we're talking about in the beginning. We're talking about where you're directly pushing to that individual and saying, hey, I think you should come back. Here's a little bit more about me, things like that. The other side of that is actually going back to the ad side and trying to hit them in a less direct way, but to where you're still drawing them back to you. When you do that on its own, it can be powerful. But when you're able to do that across the board, when you have the follow-ups, as well as a little bit more ad spend, you're able to take people that you know are already high quality because they've already been on your site or they've already purchased from you before and turn them into that repeat business. So it's a little bit different. People like to get confused about ads. It can be a little bit more, thought in how you do an ad campaign. But Ralph, I know that this is something that you've been able to use to, again, not bet it all on the first date, but actually try to get more out of the people that you've already paid for. I cannot stress that enough. Like, you've already paid for this person, so you might as well go ahead and get the money from them. So Ralph, tell us a little bit about how you go back to an ad perspective. We're not directly hitting somebody, but you're just showing up again. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, so yeah, that concept right there is called retargeting, right? We usually try to break it up into different segments, such as warm and hot campaigns is what we call it, because we want to make sure that we create specific messaging and specific ads for people who have already been exposed to the brand versus people who just haven't heard of us yet. And it's similar messaging to what we talked about in the email and the text message campaigns, where we want to teach them a little bit more about the brand, maybe push a promotion or maybe even put out a little bit more, put out some testimonials and just kind of give them that little extra push so that they come back to the site and really make that purchase. So really what we're doing here in the ads, we're instead of targeting from like an interest-based perspective or maybe even like a keyword-based perspective for different platforms, we're going by a behavioral perspective, right? As this particular user engaged with a post on whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever, have they actually visited our site and were a user on our particular site? What types of pages did they visit? What types of products? And then we nurture that message based on where they are in the process, right? Based on what behaviors they have done in the past. So, this really works super effectively. The cost per acquisition for these particular campaigns are a lot lower, a lot less than running, interest-based advertising or cold ads. And it's key to having a successful ad campaign.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about dynamic mirroring, right? Why do we call it dynamic mirroring, right? It's adjusting what you show someone based on where they're at in the buying cycle, right? It's dynamic because it changes and it mirrors back to them where they are in the buying process. So you're a new lead, we're just trying to get you to come back and make a purchase. Boom, we mirror that messaging. Oh, you left something in your cart? Boom, we mirror that type of messaging, right? Oh, you're a purchaser and we want you to come back and buy something else or buy more. Boom, we're sending you that sort of messaging. It changes as you go, and it's reflecting back to you, whether it's on a retargeting ad on Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, wherever, right? You're in their email, you're in their text message, right? You're constantly bouncing back at them, right? So just a couple examples of like what we call retargeting ads, right? And again, you can do this sort of thing really on any platform, right? Anywhere that any social media platform that your customers are on right now, they have some kind of advertising platform, right? And you can, even with the iOS changes, you can at least retarget people that have been to your site before, right? You're going to talk to somebody that's seen you before differently than someone that hasn't, right? And then if you're doing like a high volume and you have enough clicks coming in, now you can really start remarketing people back that have like abandoned their cart, like you see in this particular ad campaign, where we're getting, cost per purchases as low as $4 or $5 with like our retargeting campaigns, right? And, our average order value in the store is about $35. So you can do the math on that, right? We love retargeting and literally just like, messaging, hey, you left something in your cart, right? Come back and complete your order. Obviously, that's a different message for someone than it would if they were just a first-time visitor, right? That messaging changes based on where they're at in the buying process. You've got to talk to people differently. But again, this step here, right? This is where you really see significant ROI on your advertising, right? Much lower cost per purchase, much higher average order value because you're bringing them back and getting them to buy more. All right, so that's an example just of like a Facebook retargeting ad, right? Complete your order now, right? We also had a ton of different stuff on Pinterest because, with our air freshener brand, we have a lot of like home decor type folks, right? So we literally just kind of follow them on Pinterest as well. Oh, you've been to our store before? Hey, boom, you come to Pinterest, come on back, right? And we just show them different offers, whether it's a 20% off offer, whether it's a chance to try 2 of them free, right? You can see that we kind of, whether it's social proof, right? You can see how our messaging changes based on where they're at in the buying process. These are retargeting because these are taking people that have been to our store before and we're following them to a different social media channel that we know where they're at, and we're sending them back to the store, right? Social proof messaging, right? Benefit-based messaging, right? Offers, right? This is social proof, right? You change your message based on where people are at in their buying process, and now you're able to get significant ROI from those kind of retargeting campaigns. I mean, Ralph, when we're comparing, say, the ROI from a cold campaign to like a warm or a hot campaign, like how big a difference are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, it could be about half of the amount of the cost per acquisition, right? So I've seen it about that much. So let's say a store was getting like, CPA on cold ads for about $20. It could be as low as like $6 to $10 for warm and hot campaigns, right? So usually hot performs even better than warm, but yeah, it can be that big of a difference.
All right. So all in all, folks, when we talk about what's separating your brand from these other successful multiple 7-figure brands that you're looking at and wishing that you were doing that. If you could only do this, if you could make this, you could leave your day job. If you could make this, you could grow your brand. You could invest in all the different things that you want to do with your life, make all the different changes that you want to make, live the type of lifestyle that you want. If you could just get your brand, profitable enough, right? This is how you can do that. Dynamic mirroring is what can set you apart from these other people that just have like random stories. They're throwing stuff up on Instagram, don't really know what they're doing, right? And then they're just, losing their shirts, trying to run paid ads, on cold traffic, not getting anything. Oh, this sucks, right? They're maybe fumbling around with email, like Alyssa mentioned, right? Oh, nobody's opening. Oh, I'm not making money. Oh, this sucks. I'm not going to do this. And not doing text message at all, even though it had 100, right? We spent 10, we made 100 grand from it, right? Leaving so much money on the table, leaving so much opportunity on the table while burning money and wasting time, right? If there's one, you have got to invest in the follow-up. Everybody watching this, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. You will not get rich driving cold traffic to your store. You will not create the lifestyle that you want driving cold traffic to your store. You will not reach the level of success that you want just driving cold traffic to your store. That is not how it works, right? You have to have a follow-up game. Dynamic mirroring, 3-part process, right? Email marketing, text message marketing, retargeting ads. These 3 things together will dramatically impact your store's profitability and your marketing ROI. You start doing stuff like this, and now you can start to be like some of these other success studies that you're seeing in the group when we're giving out 10K, 20K, 50K a month awards, right? You see, we've got a brand doing 400K just in Shopify, not even including Amazon. How do you get to these type of levels, right? This type of stuff that we do, this type of stuff that you can do, this type of stuff that we're trying to help you do, right? That's why we're e-com hackers, because we want to give you the advantage over these other jokers out here, right? So you play the game differently, live the type of life that you want to lead, right? So as Alyssa mentioned, right, we do have some email templates that we can send your way. So make sure you just drop in the comments, me, right? And then we'll reach out to you and, we'll get those sent right on over to you. Be sure to like, share this video with your friends so they understand the type of value bombs that we drop here in the traffic and conversion group, right? 2022, let's make this your best year yet, right? Alyssa, Ralph, you guys have anything else you want to add?
Again, yeah, definitely incorporate this into your 2022 strategy, and let it rip. Let's go hard as soon as this new year really starts, or you really probably want to start today, but let's do it.
All right. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.